Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of June 24th. We're coming into this week. I like the energy a lot more because it's less confusing. Last week we had a lot of, what is that? I'm not sure you're hearing what I'm saying. You know, there was just this confusion that was kind of in the air, or a lack of clarity, things coming to the surface where it's like this week we'll have clarity on it, but last week, not so much. Not to mention we are also rolling into the beginning of this week, still on the energy of the full moon that happened at 1 degree of Capricorn. And that particular moon was in a T-square to Neptune. So again, the energy as we're coming in is, you're trying to bring something into tangible form. What is this? What is it that you are creating, you are building, you have an ambition about, and you're trying to bring it into form, and the energy is like right there, but it's like you can't quite get it, or you're not quite sure. Your intuition is firing and it's telling you, yeah, this is the thing, or your gut's lighting up and it's like, no, don't do that. What's happening around this space of the material and the spiritual for you with something that you're trying to begin? That's what we're sorting out. But remember, we get a lot more clarity when we get to July 21st and we get to the full moon happening in Capricorn, but at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So we have so much more clarity at that particular time. All right, we've got a lot going on in the sky this week to talk about. And so I want to make sure we have plenty of time to do that. First things first, though, you will have your timestamps in the description box down below for every day this week. So feel free to check it out. And you've asked me, so when I am calculating time, I am doing it in mountain time, so Colorado time. So feel free to adjust your clocks and your timing to Colorado time, and that is mountain time, okay? Now, before we jump in, yes, the packages for one-on-one sessions are still on sale, and they will be until July 22nd. So if that's you and you want to pull in a little bit closer, you don't want to just talk about what's going on in the general, you're like, Stormie, I'm changing. I need to know what's happening in my life. And I would like some support as I go through those changes and drop into this new version of myself. It's Cancer season. You are outgrowing one shell and moving into another. And if you need support, by God, let's do that, right? So packages are still on sale in the description box down below. But I have to share something with you. Cancer season has really, we've been in it for a day and a half, but as we've been approaching it, and I've been doing a lot with my own ancestry and doing the German citizenship while I'm living in Spain, and my daughters are here, and connecting with my mom and my mom coming here. There's just been so much on my mind and my heart around family. And I found a product that is not new. And I'm not being paid to tell you about this, okay? But I want to share it with you. But this is a birth chart book. And it comes from birthchart.net. Now, I had seen them around for a hot minute and I was like, I don't think so. Okay, this is so cool. And let me tell you why this is cool to me. First of all, in book form like this, you can see my little greasy Taurus hands have been on it, but in book form, I will leave this for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. And my husband and I have decided to do books on all of us. And it tells the story of your astrology chart in here. And it does it in a way that anybody can understand it. And I took this to the test this week, you guys, in my own personal experience. And I gave it to a family member of mine who doesn't speak astrology, doesn't know anything about it, is actually not astrologically minded at all. And I just gave it to him to read. And it was so cool because when they came back, they said, well, I don't really know anything about the astrology, but the description of you in here is pretty spot on. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is something I would be willing to be connected to, because when my great-grandchildren are around and I'm maybe not here to meet them, they can pull out my book, they can pull out my story, and whether they understand astrology or not, they can meet me and I can sit with them. I can sit with them in generations to come, and my children will be able to do that as well. So I wanted to share this with you. I am not being paid to talk to you about it. If you order it, I do get a portion of it, so that is fully transparent, and this is so cool. I just think it's cool. So in the description box down below, and if you go to my website, it's also under my Cosmic Connections. If you're interested to see other people that I work with, the digital transit calendar is there, the writing calendar from another astrology friend, it's all down there, okay? Always looking for good things to help you bring astrology in closer into your own world. Now, friends, let's get into this week. Okay. First of all, moving into Monday. Now, like I said, we're coming in on that cool Capricorn energy. We're not quite sure what it is. We're getting answers a little bit slowly, but not fully. But the moon actually shifted into the vibration of Aquarius late on Sunday. So as we're coming in on Monday, the moon is in innovative, friendly. Let's have a little electricity in our lives, Aquarius. So we're coming into the week with our emotional energy more in the space of thinking about how we feel and then talking about how we feel, right? If we've got an air moon, which Aquarius is an air energy, an air sign, we're going to be thinking about how we feel before we feel how we feel. So we've got this energy that is friendly, but it is definitely a little bit electric, spicy, and exciting as we're coming in on Monday. Now, this moon is also in a really comfortable, lovely conversation with Jupiter, who's expansive. Jupiter wants to make things bigger. And this is happening around 10 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time. So as the moon and Jupiter together, first of all, in a positive way, it can expand your heart in the sense of gratitude. And you're like, I am really grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my own uniqueness, and Aquarius being ruled by Uranus in part could definitely be that you get information, you get news, you hear something surprising, you surprise yourself with how you're showing up on Monday morning. And it's a wonderful energy. You could also get, it's like emotionally, you're coming at an old situation, an old challenge with new eyes, new perspective, where you're like, okay, if I emotionally detach from this, then I can see it this way. So if it's publishing, marketing, broadcasting, conversation, Jupiter is in Gemini. If, even if it's in a friendship, if you've misinterpreted what a sibling has to say, whatever it is, you get fresh eyes that are available to you here on Monday. And I absolutely love that. Now, as we come into the evening, so around 5 o'clock, and again, this is Mountain Time, we're going to see that the moon is now in a square to Mars. Okay, so the day has started off living our best life, innovative new things, maybe surprising news, surprising emotional things, and we get into the evening. And we get this fixed square going. So emotionally, something that you have been about, it's been here for a while. This is not new information to you in any way, right? But it is something that you've been thinking about, dealing about, maybe even stewing over just a little bit, squaring against Mars, which is your action. So your thinking and your doing and your feelings are in square to each other, okay? So first of all, this can lead to some heat. Mars brings inflammation. There can be inflammation of the emotion that's going on, and you're like more reactive. You're more impatient about something, or, because we've got Mars over here in Taurus, when it gets angry and inflamed, inflaming the bull is like waking up a mountain that's been asleep for a while. So what can come from that can be very heated. It can be a lot of fire and a lot of earthy fire. So think volcano coming at something that you're going on. Now, I will say in a mundane way, I wouldn't be surprised if during this week we don't hear more things in the news or eruptions of information that are coming, and people may be quite angry about it. More news could be coming. Mars is in Taurus. Are we going to find out more information about foods or things going on in agricultural departments? Last week, with all of the Neptunian energy, we had more information coming up about how people were buying foods from Whole Foods, from Sam's Club, and it was rubber. There were rubber blueberries. There were things like that. So we could be finding out a lot more information, and this can also make us more reactive. Now, the thing I want to say is if with a square, because it calls for the 911, like you have to do something with it instead of getting squished by that square, this can also be incredibly empowering. Where do you need to take responsibility for your own emotional being and wellness? Where do you need to take responsibility for getting some detachment from what's been going on, right? Like you're too emotionally invested in something that you can't control the outcome of anyways. So you're looking at, okay, to solve my own problem, I need to step out, right? Because there's nothing for me to do here. So it is a great day to let that kind of, let your Jiminy Cricket be your guide in that particular way. All right, as we are rolling along here into Tuesday on the 25th, so we've still got the moon traveling through Aquarius this day. But we're also going to see that the moon in Aquarius is actually in a square to Uranus, which is one of its ruling planets. Okay. Now this square, when a planet in sign squares its ruler, I always think that this is particularly interesting. And this is going to be at 4:30 Mountain Time. I think this is particularly interesting because what happens is it's like, this won't work for me anymore. This will not work for me. So it's really this sign and this symbol, I think, on Tuesday where it's like, where are you in your own way? Where are you emotionally in your own way? Whether it's that you've got a story of resentment from the past, or you've got a story of, the way groups are supposed to handle things, the way things are supposed to behave, something around your friends, whatever it is, like if you've had this emotional idea of how it's supposed to be, just like as we were ending the day on Monday, it's like, where do you need to detach and take a look at it so that you can come up with an innovative solution? Because you're running into something that is saying that won't work anymore. Those set of behaviors, those set of beliefs will not work anymore. So wake up, pay attention. Where do we need to create some innovation here? And that's very much so the vibration of Tuesday. Now, you'll have all of that heat going on, but then as we get into the rest of the day, we see the moon here going into a void of course state, and that's going to be happening. This is 4:30 in the afternoon, and it's going to take us all the way into Wednesday. So when the moon goes void of course, be easy. You have time to rest for the rest of the day, right? Here, you're getting, what is that? That's like 6 hours of rest, of ease. Don't start anything new because the energy is not going to hold. As soon as we get with the moon into the vibration of Pisces, whatever you started is going to start to fall apart and fall flat because there's nothing actually anchoring you to it. So rest, on the rest of Tuesday, no matter what's come up, no matter what you're looking at, no matter what great news has presented itself, give yourself a chance to rest. And I also want to say this time, celebrate where you have had your own innovation, where you are coming at things in your life differently than maybe you have before. That's a big deal. For humans to change our minds is like a spiritual experience in and of itself. So I want to just give you a space to remember that you have time to rest. You have energy that supports the rest. So absolutely take it. Okay, as we're coming into Wednesday, we're coming in with the moon now in the vibration of Pisces, having left that void of course state. So with the moon moving into the vibration of Pisces, first of all, we have the moon in water. So we are dropping into our emotions. We're feeling the feels, right? Feeling is healing. Now, if you're a person who has a high air and a high fire chart, you might be a little bit more used to talking away or thinking away your feelings, and we drop in. Now, for those of you who are maybe more earth, more water in your chart, you're like, oh, thank God we're back. I don't have to think about my feelings anymore. I can feel my feelings, right? So whatever it is, check in at this time and look at emotionally. What are you feeling? What's coming up for you? Where do you feel like you have boundaries that you have set in a good way? And with the idea that boundaries are not to keep, you in or other people out. Boundaries are to say, this is how we're going to engage. So where do you feel like even emotionally, your emotional boundaries are healthy? They're set. What are they? Are they being violated, right? This is a great time to check on that. Here's the other place is, where are you emotionally escaping in some way, right? It's not release. This is not the place where you're like, listen, I forgave them. I have freedom emotionally. It's not that. It's an escape. I'm doing something to escape feeling my feelings, or escaping dealing with a resentment. I'm escaping ending projects I need to end, whatever that is. This is a wonderful time to engage that. But again, Pisces energy is moving relatively, it's like the water. maybe on Wednesday and Thursday, to bring the somatic experience in, watch and listen to energy of the ocean, of the water, so you can see. I love this about water, especially the ocean. Oh my gosh, if you got a resentment or a feeling, it's coming to tell you about it, right? I don't know if you spent a lot of time around or bringing water into your life, but it's like, oh, here's how you feel. Oh, okay. And then it washes over you and then it washes out. So it may be a great day to just have a different exploration with that particular energy. Now, a bit later in the day, we're going to see that Venus is going to come into a square with the nodes. So we've got Venus here, our planet of attraction. We're attracting in how I love, how I harmonize with other people, how I heal, how I receive. And it's squaring, so creating 911 aspects to the nodes, which are something I need to release in terms of a partnership or the way that I relate to something. Another Venusian energy, which is that South Node in Libra. And the other square is going to be to how I begin things, how I usher my own story, Aries. What am I willing to fight for, damn it, because I believe it should exist. So this natural friction and tension that is here is about, okay, hold on a minute. What's being illuminated for me that I don't have harmony here. Right? Where do I maybe even not have harmony at home? I don't feel like I have harmony in my emotional security, but these squares need me to do something about that. So what I can do is create a new start. Remember, this is a cardinal square. These are all three cardinal signs, which are about a beginning. So where can we start and initiate a new beginning, a new way of engaging, a new way of attracting and receiving and harmonizing and bringing safety and security and rooting and nurturing into our lives? But the trick is, I have to stop relating to something in a way that I was before, but likely I see why it's not working. And I have to, Aries, usher my own new beginning in and then participate in it. It's really quite gorgeous. And I think you get a bit of help here, because just behind that, we've got Mercury in a trine to Saturn. Love this aspect. Love this aspect. Now, we saw it last year, October 2023, okay? But when Mercury and Saturn come together, it is like focus. What I needed to study, what I needed to be about, what I need to talk about, whatever's coming up on me, for me, wherever I need to plan, anything that has to do with making really delicious commitments to something. This is a wonderful aspect to do it under. Now, the next time we're gonna see this is gonna be this October as well. So thinking about this in terms of 23, 24, what did you make a commitment to? And maybe you're kind of checking in on it right now, where you're refreshing or recommitting to it. Maybe you have new information at this time. And when we get to October of this year, you're going to be like, whoa, look at the decisions I made. I chose this. This is what I committed to. And this is how it's rolling out for me. I think it's an absolutely brilliant energy. Also, though, what is it that you've needed to talk about, right? Have you needed to have the conversation with your business partner where you're like, this is not the best arrangement for us. We need to look at doing this in a different way. We need to look at a different kind of connection, because Mercury is very, very discerning. Okay, it's going to go, yeah, here's all the information, here's all the details of things, but I need this and this and this. These are the priority of things that need my attention. So as a business person, I like this aspect because I think it's very good to get clear on not only the vision that you have for your business, but the details and the priorities that you need to make that particular engagement happen. I really, really like that energy. Now we're going to see the moon comes into a connection here with Jupiter. Later in the day, that's a bit stressful. Mutable square we've got going here. So later in the day, on Wednesday, you could find yourself feeling a little stressed, a little anxious, a little worried. But I'll just tell you that the moon moves so fast. It's going to be whipping out of there in no time. So don't lose too much stress over that energy, okay? And this is going to roll us into Thursday. So here we are on Thursday. The moon is traveling now in that vibration of Pisces still. So we've also got a bit of surrender. We're looking at those boundaries, highly creative. Oh, put on your favorite music. You know, maybe you're doing some samba. We're doing samba over here right now. So whatever you're doing to express your creativity. But we see that the moon comes into this conjunction with Saturn. And this is like, okay, I'm emotionally willing and ready to accept responsibility, to take on the obligations, to acknowledge my mastery, to acknowledge my limitations, right? Because maybe this is about a higher power for you. Maybe this is about in your business, you've come as far as you can go. Maybe you are feeling Saturn in Pisces, you're feeling the limits of, it turns out I may be a spiritual being, but I'm in a human form. So there's some acknowledgement of limits here, but there can be mastery in the limitations that you take on, and to serve those responsibilities and to meet those obligations brilliantly. I think under this particular conjunction and movement, you're willing. There's another willingness that happens here. Now, this is Piscean energy. So another explanation of this aspect, I think, can be, especially because it's a lunar situation. So something inside of you is going, this needs to dissolve. Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. Neptune's also over here in this Pisces vibration, although it's not in this particular conjunction. So you might be going, I need to dissolve this. I need to let this go. I am ready to shoulder the responsibility of letting this go. And that's a pretty sacred thing to do, because if it's, if you've been drinking too much and you're ready to get and be sober and shoulder the responsibility of what does sobriety look like. If you've been married for a while and you're like, I'm going to shoulder the responsibility of my side of why this is or isn't working. If it's a business and you're like, I am stuck and I don't know how to go further, I'm willing to shoulder the responsibility of accepting some help to get me where I need to go next, right? And you're doing it with a lot more empathy, sympathy, compassion for yourself, and a whole hell of a lot of forgiveness, because from wherever you feel like you're stuck, we have to forgive ourselves so that we can move forward, right? Now, I do think you get some help too, because we pop down a bit into later in the day, around between noon and 1 p.m., again, mountain time. We see Mercury and the moon having a conversation, and it's like, listen, I've been through some things, and now I'm having a new realization of all of it in the trine. So you have an ease of opportunity and access to information that you've needed, and a willingness to let it come out of your mouth. I need help. Can I help you? I need to nurture something into my life. I need to nurture this to the next place it needs to be. So I think that you get a little bit of help. And it's so funny. In my mind, I'm thinking about Bruno Mars right now when he says, I'm not going to sing. He says, I'm talking to the moon. But in that he goes, moo, right? Okay. It's really pretty. And I feel like that's such an example of this particular aspect. Okay. When we get to Friday, this is a beautiful energy on Friday as well. This is quite nice. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to see is that the moon is going to go void, of course, early in the morning on Friday. Most of us will be asleep, but then the moon is going to slide over there into Aries. So first of all, at an emotional level, we move emotions into fire. And the people around us will as well, okay? So when we move our emotions into fire, we are fiery about it. We want to start new things. This is Aries. I want to do it. What do I need to do? Where do I need to be selfish? Where am I being too selfish? What do I need to do to begin something? But also, as our emotional nature comes into fire, one of the things I want to say is the fire elements can be great for burning off poison that exists within something emotional. But it can also take a lot out of the body emotionally here. So I really want to encourage us to stay hydrated while we're, cleansing ourselves in the emotional fire that is Aries. Stay hydrated, and be ready to initiate something, especially emotionally, that can really be to your benefit. Now, as we're continuing to travel along here, though, on Friday, besides this beautiful Aries moon energy that we're interacting with, we see Venus, again, that attraction and pleasure energy, coming into a sextile with Mars. I love this. I love when the lovers dance together in the first place, because when Venus and Mars come together in pretty much any interaction, it's just like watching lovers engage, and some days they're just like, yeah, this is the best. And other days they're like, ah. So this is a beautiful interaction where in the sextile, you are like, no, I know what I want and I'm calling it into me. I am calling it into me and I am confidently, in a grounded way, assertive enough to go get it. And emotionally, that moon being in Aries, ruled by Mars, you are all on. You're like, I know what I want. I know what I desire and I'm going towards it. Plus, I think it's a little bit of an aspect where we all have an opportunity to get our sexy back a little bit, where you're like, you know what? Last week, I forgot I was kind of cute. And this week, I didn't forget. I'm going to put on an outfit. I'm going to go on this date with my partner, or I'm going to go out with my friends, or I'm going to go check out that new art exhibit, or I am going to light candles in this house and invite Barry White and his delicious voice to pour all over me. I'm going to play my guitar naked. Listen, whatever. It's like you get a little bit of sexy back. And from that, when we have our root level chakra like lit up, the fires of how we create life are burning, it expands around us. That touches people, hopefully in appropriate ways, okay, right? It touches people. We send a little bit of that emotional, assertive Aries moon life. You get to be here, damn it, kind of energy into the world around us. And this moon is in a beautiful connection with Jupiter as well. This is also a sextile to Jupiter. So in the middle of the day, after you have gathered all of your sexy energy back, the middle of the day is coming around and you really are. You're that flame. You're that love letter walking into a room when the people around you have forgot that they are beautiful and available to be loved as well. So enjoy it. Enjoy Friday. Have the feelings. Go to the art museum, love on your fruit, whatever you do. Now, also on Friday, though, we get Mercury coming into a square with Chiron, okay? So first of all, this square is about have the conversation. Say the thing. Be vulnerable, really embrace your vulnerability. Here you are in this sexy mexy place where you're like, I forgot, I'm attractive, I have a little bit of fire to give. And it's like from that, your vulnerability is what shows up and really it inspires other people. It inspires you. It inspires a space of honest conversation about, this was my pain, or this is a pain I've been experiencing, and today I'm a bit on the other side of it. It's the place when you go to the art museum and you're looking at the art and you're talking to someone else and they say, this really represents, perimenopause to me. And you're like, yeah, I remember that. I've been there too. And it strikes up this inspiring conversation. It's this space where you get to go, I've come to the other side of some things. I have effectively survived 100% of my life. So I think that this is a really healing conversation kind of day, all wrapped in that beautiful, beautiful sextile energy that you're working with. Okay, we're also going to see that we've got the last quarter moon happening here on Friday, and this is going to be at 7 degrees of Aries. So in last quarter time, we're turning away from something that we began before. We're bringing it to a close. You're getting your recognition now. You are like, okay, I did it. I brought it into reality and I can wind it down. Now we're going back to April 1st of 2022 and we had the new moon that was at 11 degrees of Aries. So go back in your life, go back in your own chart in your journal. What did you start at that time? Because it was a start. It was a new moon in Aries, so you were starting something. And as we continued along, we got to December 30th of 2022, and this was your first quarter time. Now, what you started had started to come into reality, and you were really in action. You're burning down something, taking things away. People, places, and things are leaving your life, and you're beginning anew. You're going towards some kind of future goal. And then when we got to September 29th of 2023, this was the full moon time where a celebration that something was built, but also the acknowledgement that you have to acknowledge, end, or adjust something. Maybe you needed to pivot on what you began in the Aries area of your chart. You started something there. And now, after this 2.5 years, you're bringing it to a close. You're winding it down. It's like, I did this and I don't need to do this like this anymore. I can bring it to a close, I can change directions or let it go. Absolutely brilliant way, wrapped all in that Venus energy that you get to experience here, okay? All right, as we're going to roll over here into Saturday, it's got a little bit of a busy day. First of all, the moon's still traveling in Aries. I love this. We have got Mars and Uranus here. Okay, yeah. So we've got Mars and Uranus in a really nice sextile. So this is innovative ideas, innovative information. You're looking at resources a different way. You're looking at relationships a different way. Now, one of the things that I think you do have to be mindful of is somebody says something to you and it's like, wow, that's a really great idea. And before you know, you're like making plans for like 15 different directions that could take you, and that's not particularly useful. Okay, so I would just say be mindful of that, but enjoy the new perspectives. Give a presentation on this day, put your resume out on this day, push yes on that website, publish it on this day. All of those things I think are really, really useful. So later in the day on Saturday, we're going to see Saturn's going to actually go retrograde in the vibration of Pisces. Now we're going to see Saturn go retrograde from 19 degrees of Pisces to 12 degrees of Pisces. You want to grab your chart and see what housing area this is working on for you, because it's bringing your attention back to lessons where Saturn's been trying to refine you. It's been trying to say you need to get serious. You need to look at this. We need to create more structure around this. We need to exert your expertise around this. You have to see where self-discipline and discipline has to come in. Karma shows up here, right? If we've had bad behavior in this area, we have an opportunity during this retrograde to clean it up, especially any area in your life where you feel like I keep coming here and I can't go any further. That's a get Saturn's help kind of aspect. So where are you stuck? Why are you stuck? What's the mind frame that's got you there? Do you have a wealth and a disconnection from the vibration of money and wealth connection that you're getting stuck in your second house, maybe your eighth house, right? And Saturn is helping you there. So you've got an opportunity during the Saturn retrograde to really be taken back over, and it moves us more deeply and more fully where we've got to bring discipline if we're going to have freedom. Now, if you have Saturn retrograde in your natal chart, this next 4 months may be the most productive in terms of outputting something, because instead of running into yourself, you're running out into the streets, right? You're like, I've been thinking about it, percolating on this, getting my discipline together for a very long time. I just haven't been able to really express it outwardly. If your Saturn is retrograde in your natal chart, this next 4 months might really be the most comfortable, and you could build something that is so beautiful, so spiritual, so solid, and so in alignment with the vibration that you've maybe not been able to overcome. You're maybe demonstrating more spiritual wisdom and expertise on this particular area. Now, something else I just want to take note of, which is why I'm popping the chart up for you to see here, is that there are other aspects at play in this chart, but there is one in particular that I want to talk about. And that is, on this chart, you can see that the Saturn is going retrograde opposite of Juno. Now, Juno as an asteroid, when we're talking about in astrology, it's the place where not only do we love, right? It takes Venus and Neptune to a whole other place, because we don't just love, we don't just attract, we don't just pull in, but we make a deep commitment here. And this is the kind of commitment where it's like, commitment is commitment, and there may be struggle points in your commitment, right? You take on something long term, there's going to be some massive bumps in the road. So it's opposing this Saturn retrograde. So it's like this place where it's like you may be doubting a material world commitment that you took on. Now, whether that's a relationship, whether it's a business, whether it's something that you want to build, your health, you're doubting it. But in an opposition, we want to find the sweet spot in the middle. And the sweet spot here, especially with Saturn retrograde, is to go, well, wait a minute, maybe I'm not able to understand that material thing over there and a commitment to that, because I don't understand the spiritual vibration that is in line with that as well, right? And when I was starting to learn more about Saturn and changing my relationships around and getting a different relationship with money, because Saturn is in my second house retrograde, right, in Libra, One of the things I can tell you is that I had a coach come into my life and I was really struggling with my finances. And she said, you're going to have to learn to have discipline or be broke. And that was at that time with an open heart and a willingness to do the Saturn work and understand that no matter how much money I saved, it was never going to change my financial picture if I didn't understand the other side and the vibration of money and sacred wealth and what is it and how do I keep it moving and alive. This was the same story, and I want to share this with you about my relationships. I would come to a certain point and it's like, how come this is not working out? And I had to go to Saturn and get the vibration of what is this? What actually is it? And where am I spiritually disconnected from it? And as I did, my life, my relationships, my finances, the sacredness of them changed. And those are now things that I can help people understand. So in your own life, in whatever area of your chart this is falling, I want you to look at where you're doubting a material commitment that you made or you want to make or you want to have it in your life. And there's just a lack of discipline and understanding, and you're kind of being brought to pay attention to that, okay? So the rest of us with Saturn retrograde, we'll be out in the streets demonstrating our Saturn mastery. The rest of you tuck in and get it together, okay? All right, I'm just kidding. I love you. On Sunday the 30th, just a little bit before we're going to head into this July energy, we've got the moon starting us with some void of course vibration, which is great. So come in Sunday with a nice rest here. This is going to be a beautiful rest for you to take on. So, and we're going to have this, let's see, what time is this? We're going to have this void of course. It's going to start at about 6 a.m. So if you're up that early on a Sunday, that's going to be the vibration that's going to be working for you. So come into Sunday nice and slow, have a luxurious slow morning as you come into Sunday, okay? And then we're going to see that the moon pops into the vibration of Taurus. So look, you've just had this luxurious slow morning where you're coming into the day and you're like, oh, is it me? It is you. You're beautiful, right? And now the moon's in Taurus and we're going to get more steady. We're going to get more grounded. We're going to get more comfortable. Check in on your beauty routine. And it's not a shallow thing, but how are you taking care of yourself? Take a minute to look over your skin. Are you seeing any new bumps or patches or discolorations that are actually your liver or your kidneys telling you something's up, right? Take a time to view your aesthetic. That's a very Taurus kind of thing. But also, what do you have in your world that's making you feel grounded and stable and sturdy and delicious? This is a great time to check that out. And of course, whenever the moon comes into Taurus, I want you to have all your creature comforts. I'm going to send it to you via spirit, even if somebody's not delivering it to you in the physical realm, but I shower rose petals on your feet as we come in on Sunday. All right, my beautiful friends, I think we've got a good week on our hands. Please let me know how things are going for you. I'm sending you lots of love. Oh, check out the birth chart books because I'm sorry, this is really just very cool. I love you a ton, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.